Welcome everyone. I welcome all of you on behalf of Edureka for this webinar on quick start your PMP application process. It's a 1 hour session, 1 hour webinar where we are going to focus on how to fill up the application form for the PMP examination. This is a lot of people ask this question that how we have to document experience and how we need to calculate the project hour. So we are going to answer all those questions in this webinar. And in case if you have any question, on the right side of your screen where you see the go to webinar tool pane, you can just write in your question in the chat window and I will answer all the questions. Okay. Let's start now here, and before we start, just a quick introduction of myself. I'm Nishant Shukla, as I told you, and I have close to 24 plus years of experience, in fact more than 24 years now, and I've been into this training for past more than 12 years, and I've trained a lot of people from across the industries, across the globe, at different countries on various topics here, and teaching is my passion, and I love conducting these sessions and training on various topics like project management, program management, leadership, soft skills, and some other areas as well. Now I'm associated with Edureka, heading a certification business unit here. If you want to know more about myself, you want to connect with me, I am all over there on the social media. You can just find me there, and I'll be glad to accept your request there. Moving on to our agenda, so I kept very short and crisp agenda for this webinar. The focus is on application and audit process, examination pattern, and how much time is needed to prepare for the PMP examination. I am not going to talk about the course curriculum or the scores of the PMP examination, but we will focus on the application process. So we'll start with introduction, a brief introduction of PMI and PMP. Eligibility criteria, PMP application and audit process, and we also talk about examination pattern, and then we will have a discussion on how much time is needed to prepare for the PMP examination. We will try to demystify some of the myths about PMP examination, and we will have question and answers. In case if you want to know the basics of PMBOK, like PMP examination, like what is the difference in PMP and Prince2 and ACP, or what is the course structure, so you can go and find my other webinars, path to PMP series webinar on Edureka blog page, or they are there on the YouTube as well. You will get your questions, basic questions answered there as well. And in case if still there are some questions which you want to get answered, you can drop in a mail to me, and I'll be glad to take those questions there. Starting with our agenda, first topic here is introduction to PMI. So PMI is a not-for-profit association. A project management institute is a not-for-profit association which was established in 1969, and since then it has been doing a lot in towards upliftment of the project management community and project management practices. PMI started collecting the best practices of the project management and put everything into a book called Project Management Body of Knowledge. Your entire PMP examination is based on that PMBOK guide. PMBOK guide, there is no single author of PMBOK guide, but it is a collection of knowledge and processes and best practices which are provided or which were collected from the professionals across the globe, from various industries, from various domains. Okay, PMBOK guide is not confined to any particular industry. Okay, and PMI conducts this examination, and PMI offers this certification on PMP, Project Management Professional, which is the most important and most sought after certification in the field of project management, and it is widely recognized across the globe, across countries, across industries. PMPs get a lot of respect there. It is not confined to any industry. A lot of people come with this concept, with this thought that, I come from healthcare, I come from pharma, I come from construction. Will PMP be helpful for me? Because I have seen most of the time only IT people doing it. No. Wherever you find an element of project management, PMP certification will have significance, importance, and value in that. It is globally recognized, and all the industries are looking for PMP professionals. Why? It's not that before PMI came into existence or before PMP certification came into existence, there were no projects or projects were getting delayed. There were projects. In fact, if you look back into the history, you will find lot of huge construction projects, you know, your Hoover Dam, your Suez Canal, all these big projects were done. At that time, there was no PMI, there was no PMBOK, there was no PMP. Then why PMP certification has now become so important? Because the complexity of the project has increased, the dynamics have increased, and PMP is have a PMBOK guide is helping bring all the best practices together and putting into a framework in a structured fashion. And when you start planning your project using that structured approach, it definitely becomes very helpful. So PMP certification, we talked about the PMP and what it is, and now let's understand what it takes to become PMP certified. So first of all, the prerequisite. So if you are a degree holder, if you are engineer, you have BTech or B degree or any other graduation degree, you need to have 4,500 hours of project management experience along with 35 hours of project management education. So when you go for this training, you must have heard of this PMP exam preparation training. PMP exam preparation training is for 4 days. At the end of this training, a completion of the training, you're going to receive 35 contact hours certificate, and that will fulfill one of the prerequisite of PM education. Second, an important point is you need to have 4,500 hours of project management experience. So the question comes how to calculate that 4,500 hours. I will come to the details here, but first of all, you need to understand this. There should not be a overlap in the among the project. So suppose you started working in January and you worked till September, and in between these 9 months you handled two projects. You were project manager, or maybe you were working on this project for on these two projects. Project A had a duration of 4 months and project B had a duration of 6 months, and there was an overlapping duration of 2 months. Okay, so it does not mean that you can just add up this hours here. You'd have add up the months that I worked on A for 4 months and on B for 6 months, so the total project management experience will be of 10 months. No, you cannot show overlapping experience in the application form. The maximum experience you can show or document here is for 9 months only. Okay, this slides, the next slide clarify it in a better way. Here you can see you may have worked on multiple projects, so you need to capture you need to document the experience for each and every project, individual project, separately. Okay, and you have to ensure that there is no overlap in the duration. So you cannot say that I worked on project A from January 2015 till September 2015, and I worked on project B from July 2015 till December 2015. So the overlapping duration is from July to September. So on an average, if I assume that you have 8 hours every day and you work for 20 days in a month, so that means 160 hours. So the total available uh, hours to you in 2 months time will be 320. And if you show your experience for that duration as 350 or 400 or 450 hours, then PMI is going to raise an objection on that. They may ask you to give you the details, and then they can reject it because they say non-overlapping projects. Okay, and your designation during this project does not makes any difference. You need not to be in the role playing a project manager's role there. You may be the junior most person in the project team, but if you did an activity which was contributed towards a project, that will be considered as your project management experience. Important point is that you should not say that I did two projects, or maybe I did one project, but I was working almost 12 hours or 15 hours a day. I was working on Saturdays and Sundays, and I was able to get all these 4,500 hours in just 2 years time. No, That experience must come from minimum 3 years time. So if you do not have 3 years of experience, if your experience is of 2.5 years, total work experience of 2.5 years, then you are not eligible for PMP examination. Okay. And another important point is you must avoid adding projects that you did you know 8 years back, or maybe let's say 2015, and if you worked on a project sometime in 2011 and 2004 or 2005, and you want to document the experience of that project, then PMI may reject that application. Okay. So you must consider the projects that you have worked upon in past 8 years only. So I hope this point is clear to everyone. In case if you have any question, please feel free to type it in the question window, and I'll be glad to answer those questions here. And while I move to the next slide, okay, this slide talks about your application process. This slide is giving you a complete overview, a very high level overview of the application process. So the first step, the moment you decide to go for PMP examination and you have to submit the application and you have completed your training, then the first step is go to this following link which is there in the slide, certification.pmi.org, or you can simply log into www.pmi.org, go for certification, look for the certification menu, and once you go to the certification page, you can look for apply for PMP credentials in the PMP section. So once you start on that, it will initiate the entire application process. They are going to ask a lot of details, a lot of personal details, your educational details, your address and all these details. You fill up all the requisite requirement, all the project experience as well, and then you will complete and submit the online application. After you have submitted your application, PMI is going to check that application for the correctness and fulfillment. And and PMI will take maximum 5 days in that. Within 5 days, okay, there is a question from Swati. Swati is asking how much time the application process will take. Swati, I'm just coming to that. We are just going to complete this now. Within maximum 5 days, PMI will respond to you saying your application has been verified and accepted and you need to go and make the payment. In case if there was something missing or PMI had some doubt about that information that you put in the application process form, they will notify you and ask for the detail. Once it is verified, then you will be prompted to make a payment. You need to submit the fee. We are going to come on the fee section also, what is the fee for that. And once you submit the fee, the moment you submit the fee, then PMI is going to pick up 20% of the applications on random basis for audit. No one has any clear information that what criteria they use. It is purely on a random basis. The moment you make the payment, you will get to know immediately if your application is picked up for audit or not. If your application is picked up for audit, then you will receive this information notification from PMI. They will make you aware of the entire process, that what are the things that you need to do to clear that audit process, and you will be given 90 days time to complete all the audit requirement. I'll come to the audit process in a while from now. So once you submit, you gather all the information, and once you have you have fulfilled the process, you need to submit that details to PMI, and then PMI is going to review all the document that you submitted for audit. And once they verify that, once it is fulfilling all the requirement, you will receive a notification from PMI that your application is accepted and you can go and book your examination at a Prometric center. From that day, the day you receive that notification from PMI, you will have 1 year to complete or to take the PMP examination. And within that 1 year's time, you can have 3 attempts here. In case if your application was not picked up for audit, then you will straight away, after your payment is accepted, you are straight away going to get an email from PMI saying that your application is accepted, your payment is accepted. Now go ahead and book the examination and start preparing for that. And then you schedule your examination at a nearby Prometric center, and then you clear that, and once you become a PMP certified PMP, certified project management professional, then you need to maintain that credential maintenance. So I'll come to the micro level details of that, but here the objective of this slide was to tell you what is the overall high level end-to-end process of PMP application. So there is a question from Ripandeep Kaur. What if I have setbacks in jobs, say a year ago, a year gap of working twice? Ripin, that is not at all an issue. If you had an see, on an average, you will get approximately 1800 to 2000 hours of experience, assuming that you work 5 days a week, 8 to 9 hours a day, and considering all the non-working days. This is a there is no guidance here, but this is a very basic and general assumption. So even if you had some gaps, let's say you started working in 2005, you worked till 2007, and then there was a gap of 2 years, you resume your working in 2009, you worked in 9 and 10, again there was a gap of 1 year, you resume your working in 2012, you work for 13, 14, 15, and again you are on break. PMI is not concerned with that. All they want to know that in past 8 years, how many projects you worked on, or how many projects you had to work on to get this 4,500 hours of experience. If there was a gap in job, absolutely no problem. Okay, that is not the concern at all. So I hope I clarified your doubt here. Please let me know if you have any further doubt here. And uh, moving on to the next level of detail here is this is your application verification section. So I will, when you go to PMI website and you start filling up the application form, it will guide you through the entire steps here. I will not take you to the entire process, but I will highlight a couple of sections here which are very important here. So I told you that you need to document your 4,500 hours of experience, no matter how many projects you worked on during that duration, but you need to document each and every project. And when you mention that you worked on a project A, project B, any project, you also need to provide contact detail of a person. That person could have been a project sponsor, director, your client, your manager, or any primary stakeholder. Any person who can certify that yes, this person worked on project A from this duration to this duration, or whatever information has been entered into the application form is correct and true to the nature. I certify that. So the process for this is, in case if your application is picked up for audit, then PMI will send you the list of the detailed process, and you will also be provided a form which you need to forward to the person whose detail you have given this contact relationship and contact for this particular project. So you need to talk to those people, you need to provide the forward those form to them, and those people will take a printout of that form, fill up the form manually, put it into an envelope, and they will send it to you. Soft copy of the form will not be accepted. It has to be a hard copy. Okay, so they will send it to you through mail, through courier, in a sealed envelope, and you are not allowed to open that envelope. You need to forward that envelope as it is to PMI. Okay, you should not open that. Forward it to PMI. PMI will check that, and then if they have any further question or any doubt, they will get back to you. Otherwise, in most of the cases, it gets accepted like this. You will get 90 days time here to do this process. Now, important point to understand here is, when you start filling up the examination form, PMP application form, you have to, before you submit this application, you identify the person whose name you are going to give in this contact relationship field. And before you submit the application, contact them and talk to them and tell them that you are applying for the PMP examination. And in case your application is picked up for audit, then PMI may contact them directly, or they may have to fill up a form and send it to you. Once they say, okay, I will do that, then only you take it to the next level, then only you give the reference, else you find someone else. Couple of time I have seen people come back to me asking this question, hey, I gave a name of my project manager with whom I worked in 2009 and 10, but he is no longer in touch. I gave the number there, I gave his email address, but he is no longer working in that organization, he has moved somewhere else. Now what shall I do? So that will be a very tedious process, that will be a tricky situation, and in case if your application is rejected, you will have to pay $100 towards the administration charges to PMI. PMI is going to deduct $100 from whatever amount you paid, and they are going to refund the rest. So make sure you talk to those people whose name you have given before you submit the PMP application. Okay. And another important part of your PMP application is your add project hours. This is the most confusing part. This is the most challenging part where people come and ask that, how to calculate my project hours. How can I say that, I work for so many hours? So on the right side, what you see here, the blank space that you see here, you need to give a description of what all activities you did for each and every project that you have mentioned in the application form. And then on the left side where you see the blocks, you need to write down how many hours you spent working on these activities. I will show you a sample, an Excel sheet here, which will be quite helpful for you to understand that. So initiating process, if you worked on any of this activity which is here in the column A, if you worked on any of this activity, so you need to write down, let's say, perform project assessment to check the feasibility of new product or services. Let's say you were a part of that pre-consultant team who were doing this market research, or who were just doing the feasibility, and you worked for 50 hours here. Just write down 50 hours. You did your key stakeholder analysis to identify who are the key stakeholders, and you worked with your management team to gain their support and approval on this project, and you spent 25 hours on that. Next could be your, you worked with the customer to define the very high level scope of the project, and you spend almost 100 hours in that. So you can see here, as you are adding the hours towards the activities that you perform for this project, your number of hours here are adding up. So you have to ensure that this total here becomes 4,500 hours. This total, what you see here is 170 hours here. This should be 4,500 hours. So this Excel sheet is very useful, and I can share this Excel sheet with you. You can go to Edureka website and you can find it there. In case if you're not able to locate it, you can get in touch with us, and we'll be glad to assist you with that. So you need to fill up this application form, you need to fill in all the details, and this section what you see on your screen right now, this is for each individual project that you have added in your application form. So make sure the total hours for the project, overall project, will come to 4,500 hours, and then you are ready to move to the next level. After you complete these two important things, and when you submit that, and then PMI is going to take maximum up to 5 days to tell you whether your application is verified and check for completeness or not. And once they do this, then you will be asked to make the payment. So coming to the payment here, there is always a confusion here on the payment part. Some people think that it is $555, some people say it is $405. Yes, both are right, but that depends on the membership status. Lot of people have this option of getting this reimbursed from their company, but their respective companies may say that, we will not reimburse your PMI membership fee, we will reimburse only the PMP examination fee. In that case, I've seen a lot of people straight away go for PMP examination fee. So if you take PMI membership before you apply for the examination, then you need to pay $405 as a PMP examination fee. Okay. If you are not a PMI member, and if you have not taken a PMI membership earlier, and you straight away want to go and pay just examination fee without becoming a member, then it is going to be $555. Okay, the difference is of $11 only, but being a member of PMI has its own advantage and benefits. You get access to a lot of free resources, you get access to a lot of forums, and you can connect with the people, you can network with the people. So, and that's quite useful. Okay. And another benefit, I should not call it as a benefit here, but if any person unfortunately failed to clear the PMP examination in the first attempt, then within that 1 year's time, that person can go for a reattempt, second attempt. And in case, depending on his membership status, that person may have to pay the fee, either $275 or $375. Okay, so suppose a person had taken the PMI membership and then that person applied for the examination. Unfortunately, that person failed to clear it in first attempt. Then the re-examination fee for that person will be $275, and for non-members it will be $375. Duration of this membership is only for 1 year. So you need to renew it at end of first year and end of every year, and the membership fee is $139. Along with the membership, you can also take your PMI local chapter membership. That is optional, that is completely on your discretion, and the fee for that may vary from $5 to $15. And only 3 PMP examination attempts are allowed in 1 year time. If you reschedule the examination within the 30 days of the exam date, then you will have to pay $70 as a re-examination fee. Suppose today is 21st July, you submitted your application on 1st of August. You completed all the formalities and everything went smooth. On 6th of August, you received an email from PMI saying that your application and payment has been accepted. You can go ahead and block the examination. So from that day, 6th August 2015, you will have time till 5th August 2016 to clear the PMP examination. And during that time, you will get only 3 attempts. So if any person fails to clear it in first attempt, then that person can rebook the examination after a gap of 30 days. So suppose you block on 6th of August, you book the examination date for 15th of September. And any person went for examination and that person failed. Then that person can reappear for the examination after 15th October. Okay, there has to be a gap of 30 days, minimum 30 days between two attempts. And rescheduling within 48 hours of the examination is not allowed. You cannot do that. In case if you fail to appear for the examination, it will be considered as a no-show. No-show means one attempt gone. Okay, so I hope this is clear to everyone. Any questions, any doubt, feel free to ask me here. And talking about Prometric Center, a lot of people have this question: where to go for the examination, how to go for the examination. So after your payment is accepted, after your audit is done, in case you are picked up for audit, you will receive an email from PMI which will have a link to Prometric Center. You can use that link which will take you to the prometric.com/PMI, and you can actually book examination on any of the centers given here. There are only 8 centers of PMI in India: Ahmedabad, Chennai, Kolkata, Bangalore, Allahabad, Gurgaon, Mumbai, Hyderabad. If you're outside India, then you need to go to this location, www.prometric.com/PMI, and check whether this Prometric Center which is capable of conducting PMP examination is there in your region or not. In case if there is no Prometric Center within the radius of 250 miles, then the option of paper-based exam is also available on those centers. You need to check with PMI for the availability of paper-based examination in your city. PMI is the only source or the single source of truth when it comes to any information related to examination. Log into their website, feel free to ask any question to them regarding the centers and all. Moving to the next year, talking about the examination pattern. Now, before we talk about the examination pattern, I just want to take a moment here and ask if you have any question, any doubt, anything that you want to ask. You can type it in the chat window, and while you type those questions, I'll take a moment to sip some water. Okay, so examination pattern, PMP examination is a 4-hour long examination, and in 4 hours you will have 200 objective type questions. And out of this 200 objective type questions, there would be some pre-test questions as well. I'll come to that point. So this 200 questions are all multiple choice questions. For each questions you will get 4 options, and you need to pick up and choose any of the option there. There cannot be multiple options for one question examination, one question. Out of 200 questions, 25 questions are pre-test question, and rest 175 are final marking question. Pre-test question means before PMI include any of the question or make some changes in the PMP examination question, they check whether this question is, is it, they check the complexity of that question. So suppose PMI want to include a new question before it is finally included into the examination, they will put it into the pre-test category, and they will check how people are responding to it. I'm just assuming that they add this question, they give this question to 100 exam takers, and all of them answer that correctly. They may assume that okay, it is probably too easy, or maybe the other way around. Maybe all 100 out of 100, all of them can fail to answer that question correctly. PMI may assume that okay, this is too complex question. So they have their own criteria, they have their own mechanism to check the complexity of the question, and they do this checking by putting those questions in the pre-test categories. But as examination taker, you will not be able to see which one is a pre-test question and which one is a final marking question. You need to take all these questions with the same level of seriousness. Okay, you need not to even think about this fact that out of 200, 175 are the questions where I'll be judged. No, don't even think about that. I added this point here because people ask this question and they get confused that will I be checked on those 200 or I'll be checked on 175. You need not to worry about that. Okay, and your answer for those 25 questions will not be looked upon to give the final result. I'll come to this point also, what is a passing score and all in the next slide here. There is no negative marking in the examination, so you need not to worry about that. If I answer it wrong, they may do some negative marking. Okay. Examination, and no one has any idea how many versions of exam paper PMI has. That is a quite closed and tightly closed secret here. The exam is developed by a group of individuals from around the globe, across the countries, across the industries, who are PMP certified, who hold this PMP credentials. And uh, in case if you have gone for a computer-based test at a Prometric center, at the end of this examination, at the end of 4th hour, your application will auto-submit in case if you are not submitted it, and you will get the result then and there. It will tell you immediately, congratulations, you have cleared your PMP examination. And within 2 months time, you will receive the hard copy of your certificate from PMI. Okay. And there is a question from Nilesh. Is the test adaptive one, in which if the question is correctly ordered, then the next question will be of higher difficulty? Nilesh, I was just about to tell you something in the next slide. Let us see if that answers your questions here. Okay, which is the myths about the PMP examination. So I will straight away jump to your question here, that people, a lot of people say that passing score for the PMP examination is 60%, 61%. No, that is wrong. Okay. Until 2005, November 2005, PMI used to calculate and give you the percentage and the total score, and till that time passing score was 61%. But after that they changed their pattern. It has become a psychometric analysis now, psychometric assessment. So this might be right also, Nilesh, what you're asking, because when we talk about the psychometric assessment, So based on the complexity of the question, based on how capable and you are and efficient you are to select the right answer or follow the PMIism in the most complex situation, you will be given score. But I don't think this question is dynamically created. Questions are dynamically added into the paper. uh, this this may not be correct. So it is not the adaptive test actually. It There would be mostly predefined questions. But to be very frank, Nilesh, no one has any idea how this question paper is designed or set. Is it adaptive or not? But it's a psychometric assessment. Okay. And you have to ensure that you have to remember one point always, that you are a project manager. You're playing the project manager's role. So there would be situational questions in which you will be given the complex situations and you will have to take a decision, you will have to take a call following the PMI guidelines and the PMIism. Okay. Another point here is, people think that they need 35 PDUs to apply for the PMP examination. They are not PDUs, but they are contact hours. So before you clear the PMP examination, or to as one of the prerequisite, you need to go for this project management education. And once you complete that training, you are going to receive a certificate which will say you have fulfilled that project management education, and that is going to give you 35 contact hours. Remember, contact hours are needed before to apply for the PMP examination. And once you become PMP, once you clear that exam, then you need to earn 60 PDUs, professional development units, over a period of 3 years time to retain your PMP credentials. Okay. And another part here is, you there are PMBOK guide is a very vast collection of knowledge. You need not to memorize each and everything there. If you focus on memorization, you may fail. So PMI also insists that you must understand the flow, you must understand the logical flow there, you must understand the concept here. Because out of those questions, 65 to 70% of the questions will be coming from the PMBOK guide, or maybe based on certain topic in the PMBOK guide, and rest 30-35 may be from outside that also. That is to check your project management general knowledge, project management common sense, and that is to check your ability, and they will also check to wisdom to how you handle those complex situations, how you handle those difficult situations in the capacity of a project manager. Okay. There are 10 knowledge areas, 47 processes, and around 516 ITTOs, that is inputs, tools and techniques, and outputs in the PMBOK guide. You need not to memorize each and everything there. Understand the logical flow, understand the logical concept, and you'll be able to clear the examination in the first attempt. Okay. So this slide, okay, Nilesh, I hope you got the answer of to your question. In case if you still have any doubt, feel free to ask me. Okay, thanks a lot for confirmation. So this slide talks about the overall time that is needed to clear the PMP examination, or the overall time that is needed for the entire process. Okay. First step you have to do is go and attend the PMP exam preparation training. Once you go for the training, there you will be made aware of the entire process and details and the course structure and everything. And after the training, you will initiate your PMP application process. Okay. Once you submit your application process, then PMI is going to verify that, or for the correctness and the completeness. And then depending on whether you are picked up for audit or not, it may take up to 1 to 3 weeks time. If your application was picked up for audit, that it may take up to 3 weeks time, or sometime it may take 4 weeks time also. But it all depends on how quickly you submit or fulfill all the audit requirement. I have seen couple of instances where people were already prepared for that, ready for that, and they completed and they submitted their entire audit requirements in a week's time. And PMI is very quick in responding to these things. The moment you submit any application or any audit document, maximum within 5 days you'll get a response from PMI. So once you get your application approval, Then you will have to go and schedule your examination. From that day you receive your application approval. As I told you, you will have 1 year's time to appear for the examination, and that is the time when you start preparing for it, when you start studying for it. Okay, now when you start studying for it, you have to be very careful. Do not jump on preparing for the PMP examination randomly. Do not enter in that space without making any plan or without making proper strategies. So when you join the training, the instructor will suggest you some reference material. They will tell you how to study, what to study, what should be your approach. So you need to split this into two parts. First part of your entire preparation should be focused only on studies. Do not even think about taking the mock test, because a lot of people have this misconception that the key to clear PMP examination is do as many mock tests as you can. Yes, doing mock questions is very important, but you should not jump on the mock questions right from the day one. You need to read, you need to go through your PMBOK guide cover to cover, start to end. Do one cycle of reading, and based on the amount of time you can devote to for the studies, you can finish that in 2 weeks time, you can take 3 weeks time, some people take even 4 weeks time. So once you have done one cycle, then you can go to Edureka will provide you mock questions, or if you buy any book, anything will come with some mock test here, mock questions here. That is the time when you have to start. After you have done one cycle, one complete cycle of reading, then you start taking the mock questions, and mock questions will help you identify your areas of strength and areas of weakness. And then you start doing the selective study. Mock test will tell you, okay, you are weak in a particular area, go to PMBOK guide, read that particular section over and over again, and try to understand, try to figure out yourself what mistakes you are making, and figure out the correct answer yourself. Again, go to the mock test, go pick up the similar topic, or maybe go to the LMS and start doing those mock tests again. So this will keep telling you from time to time how you are progressing, how you're improving on your weak areas. Edureka will provide you more than 1,000 questions on their LMS, and I'll come to the benefits of Edureka as well in some time. So after you have completed the entire you've done the studies, that which ideally should not take more than 4 to 6 weeks time, or 6 to 8 week times, depending on how much time you can devote. A lot of people say I can study only for 1 hour a day. I would say 1 hour is not at all sufficient. It has to be minimum 2 hours every day, 1.5 to minimum hour. Because when you start studying, it will take probably some time for you to get into the rhythm. And if you are devoting only 1 hour, so by the time you get into the rhythm, by the time you get into that mindset, it will be time to finish the studies. So make sure you are devoting minimum 2 hours every day. And if you are devoting 2 hours every day, then probably in 6 to 8 weeks time, you will be ready for the examination. So this is the plan you have to make in advance, and accordingly you book your examination slot. And make sure when you're going for the PMP examination, the momentum of studies is very, very high. Lot of people, not lot actually, some of people have seen they make a mistake. What they do is, okay, today is 21st July. I have blocked my examination date for 30th September, because I am going to study and prepare till 15th September, and then I need to travel on business till 23rd. I'll come back within a week's time. I will get back to the studies and I'll clear that. I would suggest, personally, I would suggest don't do that. Don't do that. Don't take that approach. Make sure you're not traveling 15 days before the examination. See, examination is easy, not very tough. It's all in the mind. Some people say it is very tough. Some people say it is very easy. I would say it's all in your mind. If you are using the right approach, examination will be very easy. Okay. And a standard thing, just a day before the examination, just chill out, relax, take your don't think much about the studies, because that may make you nervous. Then go and take the examination, and I'm sure all of you will be able to clear it in the first attempt. And once you become PMP, when you clear it, then you will have to this is valid for 3 years, and during those 3 years time, you need to earn 60 PDUs to retain or renew that PMP certification. Now talking about Edureka, Edureka is going to be with you in this entire journey right from the beginning. You can join our online training. Edureka will provide you the online virtual training, and the advantage of Edureka is you will get access to all the recorded sessions. These recorded sessions will be available to you in your LMS, and LMS is free for lifetime. You can access it anytime. So while preparing for it, when you are in this stage, preparation stage, if you're stuck somewhere, if you want to go to any topic, you can just access your recording and you can get in, you can clarify your doubts. In case if you feel that you need some more clarification, you want to join some batch again, you are absolutely you are most welcome to join any of the ongoing batch without any cost, without any extra cost. And during this study time, in case if you need any assistance, you can log into our website, or you can contact our support team. It's 24/7 assistance from Edureka. You can get in touch with us if you have any technical difficulties during the application process, audit process, or study. We will connect you with the SME, and we'll make sure that your queries are being sorted out in a stipulated time frame. And once you become PMP, then since Edureka is a REP, registered education provided, our courses are recognized and approved by PMI. You can take up some other trainings which will give you PDUs. So PDUs are professional development unit. 1 hour spent in any PMI recognized activity is going to give you 1 PDU. And over a period of 3 years time, you need to have earned 60 PDUs. And at end of this third year, you need to go to pmi.org website again and submit your PDUs. So there are activity code for each activity that you do. When you do enter this activity, since we are registered education provider, that will be identified by PMI immediately. And you need to pay the renewal fee. Depending on the membership status, you need to pay either $60 or $150 as a renewal fee. Okay. In case if anyone fails to submit that PDUs and renew the certificate, then PMP credentials for that person will be suspended for 1 year's time. That person can anytime go and renew that certificate, but in case they fail to renew that within that extended duration of 1 year, then the PMP certification will be cancelled. And after that, if the person wakes up from the sleep that, oh, I missed my date, I need the PMP, I need the certificate, then he will have to start right from the beginning, right from the scratch. Okay, so that's about the overall progress, and I'll just take few minutes to talk about Edureka, the advantage that you get when you connect with Edureka for your PMP exam preparation. Edureka specializes in the virtual instructor-led trainings. The advantage of virtual is they are live and interactive online classes. Okay. Uh, and you need not to travel anywhere. You can be at the comfort and luxury of your home or any place. All you need is an internet connection, a computer, and a headphone. You can interact with the instructor, you can talk to an instructor there, and while preparing for it, anytime if you want to refer to your recording or the session that you attended, you can go to LMS, which has a lifetime free access, and go through your recording again. Okay, if you want, you can join any of the ongoing batch again, absolutely free of cost. So there's a lot of flexibility in this. And with this, we come towards the end of this session, and now I'll okay, so the way the classes are structured here, we have most of the time we have weekend classes here, Saturday and Sunday, and they are for 4.5 hours each day. So generally PMP verse classes are day-long sessions, so day-long session can be very taxing and tiring, and professionals may find it very difficult to pull out 4 full days from their busy work schedule. So that's why we have these classes on the weekends, and that too either in the morning or in the evening. In case if you miss any of the class, you need not to worry about that. You can re-attend the class, you can reschedule the class, or you can go to the recording as well. And we have more than 1,000 questions, 5 full-length mock tests there, and module-wise quizzes in our question. Okay, we will provide you 35 contact hour certification at the end of this training, and since we are registered education provider, so that certificate is recognized by PMI. And that is all we have about the application process and few words about Edureka. In case if you have any question, any doubt, we are now open up to take the questions. You can just type in your questions here and I'll answer them. Okay, so there is a question here. For how long this access will be available to me? The moment you enroll for the course, you will be given access to our LMS, and even before you start your training, you can go through the recording of the sessions which were done previously, which were done earlier. So that will help you sort of prepare for the examination, for the training. When you come to the training, you have already gone through the previous recording. You can prepare some questions. In case if you have doubt, you can ask and you can interact with the instructor there. Okay. And access to your recording will be life for lifetime. There is no validity for that. Even if you have after doing the training, you push your PMP examination plan for a year's time and you want to refresh your memory, you want to go through the training again, you can anytime go and access your recording, or you can join any of the ongoing batch again without any charge. There's a question again here. Okay, this question is from Gavin Verghese. As an electrical engineer in a construction, can I apply for the PMP examination? Yes, Gavin. In the beginning, I told you PMP is not confined to any industry. You worked in a construction. So in construction, suppose your company has got a project to construct a building, and that will be a project, and you worked on some component or some element or some part of it. So first of all, you will have to prepare a design that how the electric circuit is going to be in that building. So you're doing the planning, and then you will have a team of people or laborers, or electricians who will be working on laying down the cabling there, and you will be monitoring them whether they are working as per plan or not. So you are contributing towards a project that makes you eligible to go for the PMP examination. So yes, you will be eligible for that. You can apply for that. And in construction, it's actually selling like hotcake these days, because having a PMP certification certify that you have all the knowledge and capability to efficiently manage and lead the project. So I hope I was able to answer your question, Gavin. You're most welcome. Any other questions? Okay, so there is a question from Vineet. What if I do not like the instructor? Vineet, you have flexibility in case if you have any challenges. See, our instructors are all handpicked. They are all experienced and they are practitioners, because we do our workshops during the weekends. So we have been able to engage with a lot of practitioners, a lot of professionals who are working in their respective job in a companies at a senior positions. So they bring in lot of experience. But still, in case if you have any challenges with anything, you can get in touch with us and we will immediately put you in some other batch. And when you go to our website, you can go through the trial classes as well. We have trial classes, so that will give you an insight on how the experience is going to be. Yeah, I hope I answered your question, Vineet. Okay, thank you. Any further questions? Okay, since there are no questions, so I think we are good to go and we are good to close the session here. And in case if you have any further query, you can reach out to us. You can drop a mail at sales@edureka.com and we'll be glad to answer your questions. You can reach out to me as well. I'm Nisha. I can be reached at nishant@edureka.co. I'm all over there in the social media. You can connect with me. And I wish all of you a very best in your PMP endeavor, and I'm sure you will be PMP in whatever time you're you're thinking of. So with this, we are signing off from here, and goodbye and good luck. Thank you.